Hello, everyone. 2024 has been quite a successful year for most of you, and we hope that 2025 is even more successful for the rest of you. Some of you will be sitting the exam next year. We have some exciting new courses that we'll be introducing for you. The main course that we want to discuss today is the topic-based Viva. Let me share with you some details about the topic-based Viva here. So here's the schedule for the topic-based mock Viva or topic-based Viva. This is a 12-week cycle, and it starts on 4th of January, covers one system each week, and it takes you all the way till 22nd of March and covers your entire curriculum. Each week, you will be provided with topics to cover under that heading. So under cardiovascular system, you will be provided all the detailed topics under physiology, pharmacology, physics, and clinical applications. You're expected to read those topics, come prepared, and face Viva on a Saturday morning. And then you move on to the next system and carry yourself until 22nd of March. For those candidates who are having their exam in the first week of March, who are the lucky ones who are sitting first, you will miss out these 3 weeks of work. We have an arrangement for you guys by providing you with these Vivas on Sundays. On Sundays, we have mock Viva sessions, so we can adjust these 3 or 4 sessions in any of these earlier weeks. So you will not miss out on your preparation in those areas. A word of caution for you guys here. You make sure that your Viva finishes at least 2 to up to 3 weeks before your exam date. The reason being, you need time to consolidate all the work. You need to revise and do the consolidation of that knowledge. So you need at least 2 to 3 weeks of self-study and self-practice kind of work, or just mock Viva preparation on those last 2 to 3 weeks. So make sure you choose a starting point at any date which coincides with the finish date, which is 2 to 3 weeks before your exam. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll explain to you here. So although this cycle starts from 4th January and finishes on 22nd March, the next cycle will start from 5th of April, finishes on 21st June. It doesn't really mean that you start at the beginning of each cycle and finish at the end of each cycle. You can pick up your starting point anywhere. If you start with the endocrine here on 25th of Jan, for example, soon after booking your exam, you can finish your cycle here on 19th of April, just before the next endocrine starts. These are following the same pattern, so you can just pick and choose your start time and your finish time coinciding with your exam dates. So 3 weeks before your exam, you have to wrap it up, and start with mock Vivas and your self-preparation. Okay. For those of you who have booked started your mock Vivas from 4th of January, hoping to get your exam date on, let's say, sometime in March or April, but you get a date instead in September to November kind of period, and you do not want to continue with them, you can freeze your Vivas here. So if you've done like 2 or 3 Vivas, you stop them there, restart them in a way that it coincides with your exams, and that will be absolutely fine. We can accommodate that, and we'll let you start a bit later on. But make sure that you start on 4th of January. The reason being, a lot of candidates who can't find any dates during the year, the dates that are eventually left are the earlier week dates for the March exam. Nobody wants to take the exam so early. So make sure you prepare yourself for these dates by starting pretty early on. If you get a booking for a different date, you can freeze your preparation and pick up your preparation later at a later date. Now we'll come to something more important after this. Now I will share with you the checklist for your vivas. So each week before you start your viva, you'll be given a week to go through certain topics. So for example, if you're starting with the cardiovascular system, you're given certain topics in CVS physiology, pharmacology, and physics. Go through these topics quite extensively, revise them well, and come and face the vivas. We don't expect you to know everything. So that is not the point, but you try and read and revise as much as possible. Once you've done the viva, it gives you some sort of an idea of where you stand with the rest of your colleagues, with the rest of the cohort. So you get a good assessment of how others are preparing, and that's very important to be contemporaneous with the rest of your colleagues or the rest of the candidates. Once you've done your preparation or your first viva, after a week or two, open the section again and try and recall in your first revision, how much do you remember, for example, on the mechanism of cardiac muscle contraction, on the Frank-Starling law, and see if you can remember about 80% or more of that topic in your first revision. You can mark this area as green. You're in a safe zone. If your memory is serving you right and you're getting 80% of recall, perfect. If you're getting something just over 50-60%, then mark that as orange. Needs work, but it's still okay. But if it's less than 30%, this area will be red. This is the area that is flagging up. This is a red flag. You need to work on it. After you've done the full revision, see how many red flags have come up, how many areas need urgent attention. Revise those red areas as soon as you can. After a week or two, go back and revise again. And by this time, revision will be very, very easy and quick for you. Pick up only the red areas. Don't worry about the green areas. You can always revise them later on in the third week. Pick mainly the red areas, and if you have time, pick up the orange areas and see if you've moved them to green. And see that in second revision, how many red areas are left. If there are any red areas left in red, you need urgent attention on that area. If it has been flagging up constantly as red, you need to focus on that. This will focus your attention on your weak areas rather than you being very diffuse in your approach. You will be very focused on consolidating those weaknesses. By the time you come to the third revision, all this should be mainly green with few oranges in between. No red should exist at this point, right? So this is the way you can go through the whole checklist and consolidate your preparation. With that, I would wish you all the best and a happy new year, and we will hope to see you next year for the next set of vivas. All the best.